Getting a little discussion going on the PantherLair.com message boards this week. Kind of took a poll of the PantherLair.com readers. I asked, what was the best single season performance by a Pitt quarterback in the post-Walt Harris era? I figured I'd cut it off there because, you go back too far. I mean, Rod Rutherford, you go back before that, you get into, Van Pelt, or you certainly, Pete Gonzalez even in 99 or 97, excuse me, and you go back even further, Marino and all that. And so it's a good cutoff point. Rather than 10 years, I figure we go 11 years and cut it off after Walt, because Walt did a good job with quarterbacks. So I think it gets to be a more interesting discussion if you go post-Walt Harris era, best single-season performance by a quarterback. And I put the vote out there for the readers, and there was like more than 300 people voted on it as of right now, as of Thursday afternoon, and it keeps growing. And the results, a lot of people voted, and most of them expressed disgust. There's decent players on that list, guys like Tyler Palco, Pat Bostic, Bill Stahl, Tino Sinceri. His 2012 season, we put up the stats. The stats are pretty good from his 2012 season. Tom Savage, he's in the pros. Chad Wojtek had a good year. He had some good games. Nate Peterman, all right. There's decent stats, too, of those guys. 11 seasons that we're talking about. 5 of them, the quarterback threw for 20 touchdowns or more. 9 of those 11 seasons, the quarterback had single-digit interceptions. It's pretty good. But the thing that stands out most when I look down that list of quarterbacks and I think about who's played quarterback for Pitt over the last 11 years is I try to think of the games, just anecdotally, as I look at the names in the years, I try to think of the games where a quarterback took over, where Pitt's quarterback grabbed the game by its you-know-whats and just led Pitt to victory, or came close. You know what I mean? Really kind of controlled a game. And it's hard to find. Bill Stahl did it in 2009 once or twice. He had a couple of games there that I think really kind of salvaged his image to some extent. Tom Savage was at the helm for that Notre Dame game in 2013, the first fourth quarter comeback in 5 years or whatever it was. And Chad Wojtek kind of did it in the Pizza Bowl. I mean, he oversaw a comeback win. That Virginia Tech game in 2014, he kind of controlled that one. But that's kind of it, really. When you go through about 10 years of Pitt football, that's kind of it for games where the quarterback really took over. And that's such a big element that's been missing from this team in the last decade. They need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. If you have a football team, you need a quarterback who can win games for you. Pitt hasn't had much of that. Pitt hasn't had enough. And that brings us to Nate Peterman, your quarterback for this season. He did it a few times last year. You look at the second quarter of the Akron game. Big drive right before the half where he took the game over and led to a touchdown. You look at the end of the Iowa game, or what should have been the end of regulation in the Iowa game, when he led the game-tying touchdown. Big. He had game-winning drives at Georgia Tech and Syracuse where there were other elements at play, but he was the quarterback at the helm of it. Peterman won the starting job from Chad Wojtek because he produced those drives, the Akron drive, the Iowa drive. Those made him the starting quarterback. He didn't do it all season. He had games where he dug deep holes early in the game, and Pitt couldn't get out of it. But he showed the potential to do it on a few of those occasions. If he could do that a few more times this year, that could be the element that gets this team to 9 wins or more. And it's certainly been the element that's been missing in recent history.